like champagne. I'm totally vibing. It's true what they say. It's all about timing.
Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is C Chronicles, and on this channel, Unscripted, I post anything and everything, particularly vlogs and some fragrance reviews. So if you're new and you like that style of content, please do consider subscribing and joining the family. If you're returning, thank you so much for the continued support. Today I have a few vials here from Scent Split that I intend to test with you. These are vials that came off Ajua's collection. So because she's leaving with them, or she has already left, maybe by the time I'll post this video, I thought to pick a few, from the range that she had that piqued my interest, and I thought I'm going to share them with you. They are quite minute. I think they're 1 ml each, so please bear with me if you cannot see some of the wording there. Okay, the number one is going to be Mashumaro, guys, from Unique Luxury, and this is just a test run, so I'm not going to get in depth as to this fragrance is going to perform like for so many hours and so, because what I did was I was just dabbing some of them on my skin for the purposes of making sure that since she hasn't featured them on her channel, she also has some left, because the Scent Split files are quite small there. So Mashumaro, the very first one, guys, from Unique Luxury, comes across as a gourmand just by sniffing it there, and it was one that I did put a little drop of it on my arm when I was testing them last night. So this one comes across as a gourmand. There is an intensity to the interpretation of the fragrance, so, and if I'm not mistaken, I think it does come with the intense tag, Unique Luxury Mashumaro Intense, if I'm not mistaken. So there is a rich presentation, a thick presentation to the DNA in itself. You are going to get caramel as well as praline, so it's going to immediately strike you as a gourmand. So if you love gourmand, this one's going to work for you. The caramel and the praline, though intense, are refined, okay, because those two can be pushy sometimes. If you intensify them that much, they can kind of hit you on the chest there where they become too much. There's a lactonic feel to this, and I think that is the inclusion of the milk note. So do expect a fragrance that's going to be gourmand, milky, lactonic there, with the sweetness of a marshmallow, powdery sweetness of a marshmallow. Yeah, and that marshmallow, I'm going to say, is also coming across as distinct because it is amped up or backed up by those sweet, gourmand notes there. There are florals here listed: rose, as well as lily of the valley, but the fragrance itself keeps in line with the theme of the beginning of it, which is the sweet gourmand nature in it. It doesn't at any point become a floral, at least to my nose, at least with what I've tested. I'm not getting a fragrance that ends up being a rosy fragrance or a lily of the valley based fragrance, or a floral, if you will. There is also an inclusion of incense there on the note pyramid, and with the incense here, I think what it simply does is it adds some depth and maturity to this fragrance. Because the DNA makeup is gourmand and sweet, it can easily become very young at heart there. So I think the incense accord has been dropped in this fragrance just to give it that depth and to make sure that it's safe enough for you, for grown people to use. It also comes across as a DNA that can be shared by both the females and the males there. So I'm going to put this one at unisex, although the sweetness can be one that's easy to pull off if you're a woman. Some men who don't like sweet fragrances might not find this one very appealing because it doesn't at any point become fresh or cologne-y, like those sort of vibes that you get from the masculine fragrances. But it is, for a niche fragrance, safe enough to use by both genders. Those are my thoughts, guys, on Unique Luxury's Mashumaro. So we're going to go to the next one, which is Bianca Latte. This one was easy for me to select from the lot that she did bring with her. Bianca Latte is a Gardini di Toscana composition, and this piqued my interest because the dupe houses have gone with this DNA and they've run with it, in the sense that Caramel Cascade by Paris Corner has been said to be inspired by this one, as well as a little bit of what you will get, of course, from the new Latafa, which is Latafa Eclair. So because this DNA seems to be piquing interest in the fragrance industry, even in the clone world, I thought, okay, let me get the real thing tested here and tell you my thoughts. And I have actually compared the real thing with the clones, and I can see why this DNA was one that was easy for them to try and remake, because it's one of those likable DNA. So in this, you are to expect a rich caramel honeyed scent that also leans gourmand. So the structure of this fragrance is going to be closer to that Mashumaro, not in the sense that they smell the same, but the structure in the sense that it is gourmand leaning, because there is also a condensed milk accord here that you are to expect. So the whole fragrance is going to be built around a milky feel, but in the sense of, say you opened a can of condensed milk and then you just put your nose to that, you're going to get something that you are smelling in this. This is basically a rich, cozy type of fragrance with that vanilla cupcakey type of feel. So it is definitely a gourmand lover's paradise. And as you're enjoying, guys, that vanilla cupcakey feel, that condensed milk feel, there's going to be an almondy wrap up to this fragrance, so I can see why you know, people like it. Now I do have a little bit of some representation of what it smells like. So because I have added Caramel Cascade to my collection and that Clear by Latafa, I'll be able on my second channel to tell you how close you know, it is to, or they are to, the original, because I have actually you know, worn this. This is one that I actually told Ajwa I was gonna actually wear, and as you see, there's just a little bit left in there because I was trying it out. So those are my thoughts on Bianca Latte. As to full bottle worthy, yes, it's full bottle worthy. And if I skipped that part on the first one, yes, I would certainly purchase this, money permitting. This, maybe because there's a lot of dupes, the Bianca Latte, maybe because of the lot of dupes, it will be a fragrance that might not get to be added to my collection, unless of course I'm gifted the fragrance. So next up is going to be What About Pop, and this is from the house of Oud. Okay, so I'm just trying to make sure that you see, guys, this is the best I can do. House of Oud, and the fragrance in itself is What About Pop. Okay, so that is what we have there. Okay, so let's see what I think about this one. But I think this one was the one that I didn't quite like. Yeah. Okay. All right, this is from the house of Oud, a house that I have a lot of respect for. I love their fragrances. I like the presentation of their bottles, you know, the fact that they're different. They're very different. They're very artistic, the bottles themselves. But this is one that I don't like the opening. The opening, or just smelling it from the nozzle there, you kind of have enough already. Just the initial opening has got that popcorn note, and with a popcorn note, it's either you like it or you don't. So yeah, it's giving me that distinct popcorn note, unfortunately done in a way that I do not like. Popcorn done, it comes across as buttery, savory, that sort of thing, but in a fragrance can be a little bit pushy, a little bit too much there. So this one is going to be a hit or miss for some. I personally wouldn't purchase this myself. Wearing this can be a little bit challenging. There is an animalic hawthorn to this that's also adding a heavy intensity to the whole mix, right? So it is a DNA that you certainly need to warm up to. It's one of those DNAs that you just can't walk into a store and then maybe make a decision unless you absolutely like this kind of scent vibe. So this, out of the ones I took here, and maybe another one, I'm going to show you another one, is the one that I really do not like. That it does have a gourmand feel to it, whipped cream and stuff, but I feel the whipped cream is buried in the sourness of, you know, the build-up of this fragrance, and possibly because of that hawthorn. I mean, it's the gourmand nature of it kind of feels muffled there. So this, if you like fragrances built around whipped cream, I'll just still say test it. It's not a safe blind buy, guys. Yes, it is from the house of Oud, and it says What About Pop, and yes, it did live up to that expectation of that popcorn note, but to me it just comes across as heavy. I mean, you just imagine yourself smelling some popcorn there that are mixed in butter, or like a buttery caramelly feel, and it's very distinct there, but unfortunately has a sour wrap up to everything. So What About Pop is one that I would say test first before you purchase, even if money was permitting, because it's not for everybody. Okay. The fourth one, guys, is going to be Guidance. This is one fragrance I'm going to say offset without even opening it here. Is a beautiful fragrance. I love this fragrance, not because it's an amouage. There are some amouages that are a miss for me, but Guidance is, you know, is one fragrance that actually speaks to why people sought after it, and this is why it just dawned on me when I smelled this fragrance that this is why a lot of people kept on saying on my second channel, that is, a lot of people kept on saying, do you know of a dupe of this? Do you know of a dupe of this? And there is this company that actually did give us a tease. Where is it? Milestone. Okay, this is not the one, but I'm just going to show you it anyway. Milestone has got one like this that says garden, and it comes in a bottle colored, exactly like the Guidance one. And when I did bring a review of this, a lot of people were excited because we actually thought it was going to be a Guidance dupe, but it's not, guys. The closest you will get to the Guidance dupe is that Bianca Latte by Paris Corner, but even then, that one is missing the mark when it comes to the almondy nature or the almondy tone of the fragrance. This is very addictive. It has a nutty accent to it that draws you in, you know, and then that nutty feel of the fragrance is immediately joined by a creamy sandalwood. The most beautiful combo you can ever think of is exactly what you're going to find in here. And then there is again another milky nuance coming from the osmanthus, and the same osmanthus also bounces off as apricotty. So it's beautiful. It's just a combination of notes that work, and that milky wrap up, guys, is enough to blanket the florals to make sure that it doesn't become about the florals. It actually becomes about the almondy, milky, even almondy, milky, spicy, gourmand even type of fragrance. Gorgeously done there, very nicely done. The florals don't take over the moment, but there are florals in this, right? Why the florals don't take over the moment is while you're enjoying that nutty almondy tone, there is a quick inclusion of the spices there that come into the mix, and a woody tone that comes into the mix, making the scent itself not identify as floral but rather a nutty wrap up of a fragrance. Gorgeous one. This, money permitting, Guidance, I would certainly add to my collection, guys. And I would still add, regardless of having Bianca Latte, because that one is a bit timid there when it comes to the nutty tone, and the nutty tone in Guidance is exactly what I like. So Bianca does not hit it there on the nuttiness, but it does vibe the same. So it is certainly an Amouage that I can put on my wish list, and it's the fourth one, guys, on this test run. And then we have Dom Rosa, okay, Dom Rosa right there from Liquid Imaginaires. Liquid Imaginaires, guys, I've just discovered I've got some of the beautiful fragrances, most beautiful fragrances on the market. I have Blanche Bette in my collection, and I have another one, I think it's Fortis or something if I'm not mistaken. And the fragrances have not disappointed, this one included. This I can also tell you that money permitting, I would certainly buy full bottle. This is built around a champagne note, pomelo. Some of you guys might not feel the champagne because there's a pear, rose, spices and woods that weigh onto that champagne. But you still get the brightness, okay? You still get a bright rose. And I think the brightness of that rose and the fizziness of that rose is coming because of the champagne note. But if you are used to some fragrances that have the champagne note and come across as crisp and fresh and fizzy and stuff, this might not actually hit it that way, but it does. It does have that champagne note, guys. I do feel that champagne note, and it's a gorgeous fragrance. It's not trying to do too much. There's a faint sweetness in this. Everything about it is stunning. And there is that pear that interprets as aquatic as opposed to sometimes a sticky pear that I always talk about. And then they have wrapped it up with some spices and some woods being that cedar, and then they went on to list I think they just said what you call it, various woods, like a combination of like they just said woody notes, and then you're going to have Gaiac woods there, and then you're going to have, I think, a vetiver if I'm not mistaken. But what it dries down to is rather a dry, dusty vetiver carrying the top notes there, that fruity feel, the sweetness, you know, the light sweetness of the fragrance and those florals. So it doesn't really become woody, but yes, it does have the woods. So with the woods, just expect that dry vetiver feel to wrap up this gorgeous, effervescent, stunning, feminine leaning scent. Okay, so I would certainly buy this one from Liquid Imaginaires, Dom Rosa, gorgeous fragrance, and it's a house that I might explore. In fact, I wish they could come up with maybe a discovery set or something like that, where I can just maybe go all in and buy a lot at the same time and test them out, because all of the fragrances that they have brought or that I have stumbled upon have been gorgeous. Gris Charnel is another one I thought to add here. This is going to be the second from the last, guys, for those who want to know what, how many I have here. Gris Charnel I added here just for the sake of getting my nose accustomed to the real thing. Okay, we have spoken about Gris Charnel a lot on the other channel, on the Tube channel, and I would say, yeah, most of the dupes have been nailing it, especially that Liam Gray. And yeah, I have my nose on this now, and I can say, yes, it's the dupe house I've tried, okay? It's just, unfortunately, as a scent profile in itself, I'm not really a fan of it. Smooth, it's got a rich sandalwood, it's got a cardamom, it's got a faint tonka, but it's just a DNA that I personally, even with the money, say I was, you know, told to spend as much as I can, and I walked in a shop, I don't think I would personally add this in my collection. It was through the clones that I came across that I discovered that no, it's not a DNA that I would find myself missing or scraping to find or something like that. But for those who like the DNA, yes, it is a nice fragrance, but it just has a smooth roundup. So I don't think it's a fragrance that is loud or performs very loud there. If anything, if you want something that's loud, I'm going to still refer you to the Lattafa one, because that Lattafa one is pretty polarizing. The real thing still comes across to me as a soft fragrance that's trying not to be pushy, right? The very last one here is going to be Pink Me Up from the Atelier de Ors, okay? Pink Me Up. This is the little writing there, if you can see that at all, okay? So this is from Atelier de Ors. Pink Me Up, the one that comes in a beautiful bottle. I've been seeing those bottles. I've never ever had any one of those bottles in my collection, but you know, sometimes they come with those gold flakes and stuff, and this one I think it's a reddish bottle, if I'm not mistaken. If I am, I'm going to take this out because I don't even know why I'm saying it, okay? So this is basically a fruity scent, a very fruity, fizzy scent with a champagne note as well. Not necessarily interpreting as that in Dom Rosa. You know, the way I said the champagne is not as sparkly in Dom Rosa. In this one, it is actually very sparkly, adding a fizzy, effervescent feel to this fruity burst that you get here. The fragrance in itself has got an intense blackberry. Yeah, it's got an intense blackberry there that's going to give it a fruit juice feel. So this is going to appeal to those people who love very fruity toned fragrances. In as much as it has that fruit juice feel, I'm not going to call this one immature. This one is quite not very mature, but it's not dated. Okay, it's not dated. It's safe enough for older people to wear, in as much as it's fizzy toned, you know, with that juicy, like a syrupy juicy feel of a blackberry. And yes, it's certainly something that I might want to buy. The only thing I would say is a con in this is it does have that mainstream kind of feel, where there are other fragrances that you could possibly get, say, if this one is expensive. I don't know what the price point is, but if this one is expensive, there are other fragrances on the market that you can obviously pick for a more affordable price. So yes, that is what I can say, guys. It does have that feminine tone, so it's going to be easy to purchase or gift for a female than it would be for a man, because it does get into that fruit juicy kind of sticky feel there, fizzy but very fruity forward there. So those are the samples that I thought to bring to you here. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Do you have full bottles of any of these, and what are your thoughts? I am drawn to the liquid Imaginaires. I think those guys are not joking, and I wish I can come across a discovery set, because like I said, Blanche Bitter, I'm decided, but as for the other ones, I might need you know, a tester. I might need testers, but even that Dom Rosa, I am decided. But maybe as for the other ones, I might need a little bit of some testing there. But it's a house that is has impressed me so far. C Chronicles is my name. Thank you so much for joining me today. Let's meet in the comment section where we'll discuss more about fragrances. Remember to turn on post notifications while you're at it, so that you're notified on this channel as well as my other channel anytime I post a video. Stay safe, stay blessed. I love you as always, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.